Good morning, students. Today we are going to start a very important topic of English grammar, that is verbs. Students, you know that there can be no sentence without a verb. So let's see what a verb does in a sentence. A verb tells us what a person or thing does. For example, Maria grows vegetables and herbs in her garden. So, in this sentence, the word grows is a verb because it shows what Maria does. Second is what the person has. Example, Maria has a large organic vegetable garden. In this sentence, the word has is a verb because it shows what Maria possesses. Third function is what a person or thing is. Example, Maria is a doctor. In this sentence, the word is acts as a verb. So now we can say a verb denotes action, position and being. All sentences must have a verb. Students, a verb can be transitive or intransitive. A transitive verb is a verb which requires an object to complete its sense. Okay? Example, Revati baked a cake. In this sentence, the verb baked is transitive. Why? Because it has an object, cake. Secondly, cake refers to something that is different and distinct from Revati, the subject. Okay. So therefore, cake is the object of the verb baked. In this sentence, Revati is the subject, baked is the verb, and cake is the object. So the verb which requires an object to complete its sense is called a transitive verb. Next we have intransitive verb. A verb which does not require an object to complete its sense by itself is called an intransitive verb. Let's understand this with the help of example. So first example is birds sang. If I ask you what? Birds sang what? You will get no answer. So in this sentence, the verb sang is intransitive because it has no object. Another example is Charlie is an actor. If I ask you Charlie is what? You will answer actor. However, if you look closely, you will see that actor refers to Charlie himself. It does not refer to somebody or something different or distinct from the subject Charlie. Therefore, actor is not an object of the verb is in this sentence. So, in this sentence, the verb is intransitive because it has no object. Then students, there are some verbs which can be used both transitively and intransitively. For example, grandpa always sings in the bathroom. In this sentence, the verb sings is intransitive, while in the next sentence, the girls sang a song. The verb is transitive. The verb is same, sing, but in one sentence, it is acting as intransitive verb, and in another sentence, it is acting as transitive verb. Let's see how it is acting as intransitive in the first sentence. In the first sentence, grandpa always sings in the bathroom. If you ask what, then you will get no answer. There is no object. So it is intransitive here. In the second sentence, the girl sang a song. If you ask what, then you will get the answer, a song. So here it is transitive verb. Look at the second example. The woman left early. In this sentence, the verb left is intransitive, while in the next sentence, Mimi left Mumbai in December, the verb left is transitive. Okay. Now, we have incomplete verbs. Verbs like be, is, are, am, was, were, will be, shall be, etc. become, appear, seem and look are incomplete verbs. Students, these are the examples of incomplete verbs. And why these are called incomplete? because they need complements to complete their meanings. They cannot stand alone. For example, mother was satisfied. In this sentence, the verb was is incomplete verb. Why? Because it needs the word satisfied as a complement. Next we have detransitive verbs. A verb that can have two objects is called a detransitive verb. Students, you know that there are two types of object, direct object and indirect object. And the verb which have both types of objects, direct as well as indirect, that verb is called detransitive verb. Let's understand direct object and indirect object with the help of examples. So a noun or pronoun that directly receives the action denoted by the verb in a sentence is called direct object. Look at the examples. Mr. Gupta bought a pen for Kamal. So in this sentence, there are two objects, pen and Kamal. To find out the direct object, we ask the question what after the verb. So in the first sentence, if I ask what, Mr. Gupta bought a pen for Kamal, what? You will answer pen. So here in this sentence, pen is the direct object. To find out the indirect object, we ask the question to whom, for whom or from whom. Okay? We ask the question whom. So in this sentence, if I ask Mr. Gupta bought a pen for whom, you will answer for Kamal. So here Kamal is the indirect object. Another example is Dr. Singh taught us science. In this sentence, if I ask the question what, answer is science. So science is the direct object. To whom? Us. So the word us is the indirect object here. Next we have auxiliary verbs and main verbs. Verbs are either main verbs or auxiliary verbs. Basically there are 14 auxiliary verbs. Some auxiliary verbs are be, have, do, will, would, shall, be, have, do, will, would, shall, should, can, could, may, might, ought to, used to and must. These are some auxiliary verbs. All other verbs are main verbs. Why are auxiliary verbs important, or what are the functions of auxiliary verbs? Auxiliary verbs are used with main verbs to form tenses and passive forms. They indicate tense. Now students, we will try to understand chief parts of a verb. So, the chief parts of a verb are the present tense, which is also called first form of the tense, the past tense, which is second form, and the past participle, which is called the third form. For example, the chief parts of the verb go are go, present, went, which is past form of the word go, and gone, which is the past participle of the verb go. Similarly, we have some more verbs like come is the present, came is the past, and then come is the past participle. Students, it is very important to be familiar with the past and past participle form of the verbs. So, in the next video, we will deal with the strong verbs and weak verbs. If you have any doubt in the content discussed in this video, you can ask. Thank you.